So the United States government just declared the war on drugs is over.
Okay.
They locked up the last poor person. Was the war on drugs worth it?
No, the war on drugs was something that the United States government used to discriminate against minorities and use extra police force against minority communities. It was completely and totally falsified, and it was ignorant and irresponsible for the government to pursue the war on drugs against minorities and those communities. It was completely and totally useless, a waste of taxpayer money, and just another way to incorporate Jim Crow laws in the modern era.
Yes, couldn't have said it better.
You can't end it. The war on drugs is forever going to be.
Whether it's over or not, people are always going to have a problem with it, but it doesn't matter because people are always going to do drugs.
People are going to do drugs as long as fucking humans exist on this planet, man. You can't stop that. You can't stop that.
History repeats itself. It's always the same thing over and over again.
You know, you can put as much money as you want into, like, task force and fighting shit, but truth of it is, man, like, no matter what, that shit is always gonna be there. There's always gonna be a fucking supply for drugs. There's always gonna be a demand for drugs, and there's gonna be those people that supply that. So
it's totally worth it. I'm so glad that the federal government cares about the well-being of our citizens and that they're concerned about our drug usage, honestly, because we're all a bunch of dope heads. So I'm glad the federal government cares about what I do in my spare time by myself. It doesn't harm anybody else.
I think the level of acceptance for drug use, you know, it'll change over time.
Right. That's true.
There's always going to be people who do drugs, and there's always going to be people who have a problem with people.
I mean, look at pot, man. Pot is fucking legal in DC now. That fucking says a lot, man.
Exactly.
That is Washington DC, man. That is like America's fucking vagina. That is America's. You know what I mean? Like, if that shit is legal there,
it's
like, you take 5 years from now, dude, everybody's gonna be fucking smoking dope, like, everywhere. No one's gonna give a fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
people have always smoked
that
dope
right there, though, is like, they made that shit legal in DC, man. It says a lot, man.
It's a done deal.
It's a done deal.
Okay, because I'm asking people about the war on drugs.
I'm not going to be involved in that, I'm sorry.
You can't. Well, you are involved in the war on drugs because you do fight an aspect of it.
I just don't want you to get run over.
Okay, I'll leave the street. But is the war on drugs was it worth fighting?
I'm not going to get into it right now.
Okay, just, I'll leave the street. The cop actually said he wouldn't get into it, which is extremely funny because the cop is a very intricate part of the war on drugs.
Nothing says freedom like banning things.
The relationship between the DEA and the Mexican drug cartels, you know, I don't know if it's the most productive thing. So.
Do you think that Reagan and Bush and all the others helping to supply all that drugs, do you think that caused the war on drugs to go longer?
Absolutely. I think Los Angeles is kind of a hot spot, right? And I don't remember which government agency it was, but they planted crack in those neighborhoods in LA, which obviously sort of kick-started the whole thing.
I will tell you, Director Deutsch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time.